Good afternoon. I think we're ready to start. LionDesk, this is going to be an awesome training. We have Ryan Andrews, and we also have Sheila Etheridge from LionDesk. And they are going to give us so much information, and I personally am going to looking forward to this. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Ryan and Sheila. Give them a round of applause.
Thanks, guys. So, yeah, obviously, LionDesk, we just recently launched with CRMLS, so really excited for that. We're trying to go association to association, so I think you guys are the third one. Really good turnout, so really excited for that. Today, just to kind of preface it real quick, what we're going to be doing is just giving you kind of like a really good introduction, high-level overview of LionDesk, so you guys can all get more familiar with it. Obviously see, why you should use it, what the benefits are, and hopefully get excited about taking advantage of the member benefits since it is included in your CRMLS subscriptions. Sheila here, just to give a quick introduction. This is Sheila Etheridge. She is also an agent. She's very familiar with LionDesk. She's one of our trainers, and she's actually the sister of our founder, David Anderson, who created this platform. So she's a big part of why he actually created it. He did. So when he originally created it, he bounced a lot of ideas off of her just because, there was a lot of things and tools out there that she felt there was a big need for. So he kind of built a platform based on a lot of her feedback. So I'm glad to have her here as well. So we will keep this interactive, as Sarah said. I prefer that. So again, today I'm going to try to keep it maybe 45 minutes of going actually into the system, getting you guys familiar with that. If there's questions throughout, we can answer those, but I am going to allow probably 15 minutes at the end for like a Q&A, so we can get really interactive then. But if someone has something that they just can't resist, go ahead and let me know, and I'll answer it for you during this stuff. So.
Can you silence your phone?
Yeah, good call. And then I'll jump in here, guys. So just so everyone knows, again, CRMLS benefits. So you can access LionDesk. For those of you that don't know, it is in the actual dashboard. So once you log into the CRMLS dashboard, this is what you're looking at here on the screen, right? So these are the different products that are offered through CRMLS. Obviously, LionDesk is one of them, and you can see the tile there with the very last one on the second row, the lion head. That's single sign-on, so all it does, guys, it uses your MLS credentials, so your login. Since you've already logged into the MLS, it uses that, creates your account, and it'll dump you right into LionDesk, and then that's kind of your starting point. I'll take you through that. It's a little intimidating. I think a lot of people get dumped right into it, and they're not really sure where to start. So I'm going to walk you through today as we start just kind of like initial setup stuff. I'm not going to walk through every single detail, but I want to get you familiar with what you should do when you first log in, how you can get everything set up, and then I'll get more into like the actual features and benefits of LionDesk, some of the bells and whistles and that kind of stuff, and go from there if that works for everyone. Sound good? All right. So once you log in, actually I'm going to start with this real quick. First things first, so quick overview real quick on LionDesk, just so you guys are all familiar with what it is. So obviously LionDesk is a CRM platform. A lot of different CRMs out there. Some of you may be already using a different CRM. Some of you might already be using LionDesk. A lot of you probably are just still using Excel or maybe your phone to keep your contacts, but CRM platform, the main idea with what LionDesk is doing is really just helping to keep you guys stay organized, right? So this is a platform where you can dump all of your existing sphere of influence or existing database that you have, whether it's in Excel or your phone, wherever you have your contacts, dump them into LionDesk. We can also route leads in live. So if you work with Facebook, we have a direct integration with Facebook, Zillow, your website, you name it, we can get all of the leads routed in live time. So we're kind of, the main thing that sets us aside from a lot of CRMs out there is that we're kind of a best-in-class CRM. We're not really trying to be an all-in-one. There's a lot of different CRMs out there that are trying to do everything, but what we found is you really can't do everything in every avenue the best, so we concentrate on what we do best, which is really just follow-up. That's the whole goal with this stuff, is it just keeps you organized, allows you to follow up with your clients, stay ahead of them, and then obviously the other stuff, that tools that you use can plug in. So we allow a lot of other plugins, which I'll show you as well, which is nice. At the end of the day, everything's in one centralized location for you. So rather than having 5 different logins with 5 different systems and data in all these different spots, it's going to pull everything into one location. So pretty cool stuff on that. Just wanted to point this out too. So we're getting a really high adoption rate already. We've only launched, I think, less than 2 months, but the adoption rate's been really high. And I think the reason for that is that this is a tool that you don't have to use only if you have a transaction, right? So if you're a brand new agent starting from day one, you can use LionDesk. You dump your sphere of influence in there, and you can start to keep in touch with them. Or if you're a real estate agent or broker that's been in business for 20 plus years doing multiple transactions a year, you can also take advantage of this and some of the features that includes. It's also built out specifically for teams. I know there's a lot of teams out there recently, so there is team sharing capabilities, so you can pen each other leads back and forth, assign each other tasks. Just wanted to point that out. And then obviously brokers, we work with brokers. A lot of tools that brokers can use just as far as metrics and reporting and that kind of stuff as well. I'll touch on this real quick, kind of repetitive, but just why LionDesk. Again, the whole goal with this stuff is, number one, organization. We all know not only as just sales professionals, but as real estate professionals constantly on the go, it's really hard to stay organized. So this just really helps you keep everything in one place. And again, pulls all of your different systems kind of into one centralized location. Flexibility is the second one. I think we all know that no two agents generally run their business exactly the same. Everyone has different preferences. So we did build this out specifically so that it's completely configurable, meaning that you can customize different fields, whatever you prefer. As an agent, you can basically customize this to your liking. Marketing obviously is a big part of CRMs in general and what we do. A lot of different marketing tools in here. One thing we hit on is a lot of automation stuff of sales and marketing, which I'll show you through drip campaigns and some different examples. And then I already touched on this briefly, but connectivity, right? That's a big one. A lot of different tools out there. No one's using, one or two tools nowadays. A lot of different tools that CRMLS offers. And that's kind of what we're integrating with. So whether it's Showing Time or Cloud CMA or even Remind, which has been launched now, we integrate with a lot of these other, again, best-in-class partners to where we're not trying to do it and replace them. We're basically just allowing them to plug in so you can use what you like and prefer and call it a day. I won't get too into this. I'll jump into the system here in a little bit. But basically, what it comes down to, and this is where LionDesk really helps, is I think we can all kind of realize that we don't really have a lead problem. It's not really a lead generation problem that us as agents really have. It's really the follow-up, right? Staying front of mind, staying in touch with these people. That's the hard part. Again, that's really what LionDesk helps you do. This I wanted to throw out just because it's a pretty striking stat, and it's actually a little bit lower, the one that NAR just came out with recently, but this is straight from NAR. But less than 15% actually of buyers or sellers use the same agent after the deal is complete. That's pretty damn low. And I think the reason for that is not because the agents did a bad job. In fact, the stats show I think over 90% would definitely use the same agent again and would recommend them as a referral. But over time, they just lose touch. So as agents, it's just hard to constantly stay in touch. So I'll show you kind of how LionDesk helps you do that automatically, but still keeping it personable so it's not robotic. But that's kind of a big one, guys, especially for existing business. For those of you that have already brought in existing deals, those are ones you've already won. Those should be easy pickings as long as you keep that relationship going. That should be someone that's definitely going to use you again. So I'll get into some of that stuff. But just quick recap, and then I'll jump in. Again, really comes down to pretty simple. Just keep you more organized, more consistent follow-up, and at the end of the day, it's just going to help you get more closings. So that was my boring PowerPoint stuff. So, yeah, it could. So I wanted to get through that, and then I'll slow it down here as we go into the system. So once you actually use the single sign-on, is everyone clear? Does anyone have questions before I jump in? Is everyone clear on how to actually claim your LionDesk account and log in? Any questions on that stuff? Sure.
I know that there's a app for Apple, and my sign-in doesn't work separately on that. Do I have to create a different sign-in for the app versus going through?
It should be the same. So whatever your MLS login is, your MLS login and password, whatever email you're using for that, use the same email and then the same password. That should log you in if you're having problems with that. Sounds like you might be. Let me know. I can definitely dig into it for you, but that should work. Is that what you were doing, using the same?
Well, we don't use our email to log in to the MLS.
Okay. So yeah, when you're doing the app, you're going to use the same. So what what email do you use? I guess in general, you're going to use that same one. That's the same one that's linked to your MLS. It'll use that. Same as your MLS. So password's going to be the same, and then whatever email you use. So thank you for that. Yep.
So coming back to this point, I tried all the different variations with email address,
For the app.
app, or even regular LionDesk direct login. Like I don't want to go through CRMLS every time.
Every time, sure.
So I go to LionDesk and it doesn't accept me as a user.
I'll look into that. I don't know. I haven't run into that a lot. Sure, back here.
So when I first used it, I went through my CRMLS, I clicked login through CRMLS, and then I was emailed a temporary password that I used on the app in order to log in.
Okay.
So LionDesk actually emailed it to me
So you should receive an email then.
after you sign up through CRMLS, correct?
Good to know. Thank you for that. Sarah, sure. Yeah, that's right. I can if you don't mind, sure. That's good. I think it's fine.
Oh, that's better. Now you're not.
I guess, does anybody have a pair of sunglasses I can use? I'm kidding. that would be a little different. So thank you for clarifying that. It sounds like you get a temporary login through email.
Don't back up.
Don't back up.
Don't move.
All right. I'll try to stay put here. Any other questions on that? And at the end, guys, too, if anyone's having trouble with that stuff, I'll make sure to sidebar that and we'll get you squared away. But any other questions on how to log in through the single sign-on? We good? All right. Okay, so once you log in, this is what you see. It's going to first place it's going to take you is actually the dashboard. The dashboard, the first time you log in, you're not going to see much action on it just because you don't really have anything going on yet. But this is where, once you log in, once you have things going as an agent, you can quickly just kind of view. It's a snapshot of what's been happening over the last 24 hours. So as I mentioned, once you get all your leads routed in, this will show you how many different leads you had come in that day, how many outbound calls you made. I'll show you how that works. Outbound text that might have been sent, inbound text that obviously you received, emails that were sent out. From that, how many emails were actually opened from what you've sent. A step further, it'll actually show you who's actually clicked if you've included any links in the email, so you can view those. And then email reputation over here on the right-hand side. This is nice to track just because it does show you who's actually being maybe marked as spam. So if you're getting marked as spam a lot or a lot of bounces, you can dig into that and see what's going on or why and reach out to those people. Again, quick hit on the dashboard. This is just tasks. Obviously, tasks are a big part of CRM, so scheduling reminders or calls. This shows you what you have in store for that day. And then down below here, you can see just recent activity. This is where you can actually view who's opened your emails, who's clicked them. A lot of agents like to go here first to see who's actually been interacting and maybe reach out to them first. But again, the dashboard, not too much to hit on here, but it is just kind of a quick hit glance at what's been happening. What I wanted to show you, so once you actually, the first thing you're really going to do once you log in is you're going to want to go to your profile, and that's over on the top right-hand section over here. On this example, you can see it says, Welcome, Ryan. This is just where initially you go to make sure everything's set up correctly. So setup, obviously, is first things first. You want to make sure everything's set up. The profile here, you can see this already pulls in your name. It already is going to pull in your email. You can put in your website. The website's only if you're going to be sharing transactions. So we have a property section in here. That's only going to be available if you share your transactions, and I'll hit on that after. Cell phone, really the first thing you want to do. So some of the features we offer is like a click to call, so you don't have to manually call out. So if you're in someone's profile and have their phone number, you can click on their phone number and it'll call out from your cell phone. So you want to put in your cell phone number here and make sure you validate that number. You're going to enter your phone number here. Click to validate it. Once you do that, it's just going to give you a call, and then it's going to give you an access code for you to enter to verify it's you, And once you do that, it's verified. The other thing I'll hit on, I'll get into the text messaging after that. Real basic, but email signature. Obviously, you're going to be sending emails. That's kind of 101 through this system. You're going to be sending a lot of emails, either automated through drip campaigns or just one-offs if you want to email through here. You want to make sure your signature is set up. So to set up your signature, pretty easy to do, but you're just going to click that edit button. Most agents just copy and paste whatever they're using already. They usually have a signature set up. So you can simply copy and paste that in, save the signature, and then that's set up so that anytime you do send an email through LionDesk, that will include the signature. Yes, sir. Yeah, so what you do for the picture, so what you need to do for, if you're going to include a picture, what you're going to do is you want to make sure that you have the picture ready to go, so maybe on your desktop, right? I'll walk you through that real quick, not to get too sidetracked, but you're basically going to go to the document section. And through the document section, this is where you can actually insert your picture. So you're going to upload the picture through the document section here. So you can actually add the picture through the document section. Once you have it in the documents, then you're going to go back to the profile. So I'll just go back real quick. So basically go to documents, download it in the documents. Once it's in the documents, you can click it through the document section. It's going to pop up in a separate window with a URL. Copy and paste that. And then from there, you click this picture over here. I know I'm going pretty fast here. So I'm in edit. If you want to add a picture, this middle bar over here, you're going to add this picture right here. It's kind of tricky to find. That's where you're going to copy and paste the URL. So once you have it in documents, you click it. It's going to pop up a separate window. Copy and paste that URL, and then basically, or copy that URL and paste it right here.
That's if you want a picture anyway.
Yeah. That's only for email signature. The other photo up here is going to be the one below it, which is this one right here. Again, the photo, it's nice to have. That also is only viewed if you're sharing properties. So if you're sharing a transaction, that's where they can view your picture. So the three things that are only viewable if you're sharing a transaction is going to be the photo, the website, and then this introduction. Other than that, it's not needed unless you're actually sharing property transactions. Any other question on the email signature before I move on? Is that pretty clear? Sure. Absolutely. Yep, so for the picture, you're going to go to Documents over here on the left-hand side. Over here on the Drop File section, this is where you can add a file or a photo, right? So you're going to click on that. This is where you're going to go ahead and basically upload this photo, depending where you have it saved. Let me see if I have one I can use real quick. I think I have LionDesk image. So Documents, over on the right-hand side, Drop Files. It's going to put it over here into the folder. It'll let you select what folder you want to put it into. I have it just under uncategorized. That's the automatic folder that comes with. So if you don't select a folder, it'll put it here. Once you have it here, you can click on that. It's going to give you this URL right here for the picture. So this is where you're going to copy. You want me to go back? All right. So there we go. So Documents. You already have to have the photo, obviously, your desktop, wherever you're going to keep it, right? So let's go Documents. Over on the right-hand side, you can see where you can drop files. Yep, over on the right. So right-hand side, drop files. Basically, if you just click anywhere in this section, it's going to give you the option. This is where you search for whatever, wherever you saved that photo. Select it. Once you select it, it's going to ask you what folder, where you want to put it. You can either create a new folder, but most of the time you can just put it in uncategorized unless you have a specific folder. If you don't, it'll dump it right there for you. So look under uncategorized. Here's mine. You got to find it and click it. that's going to give you the URL.
Which is the website about the address.
The very top. So this is the part you copy that. Yeah, so copy it and then go back to your profile. Yeah, I'll walk through it real quick, but there is, I'll make sure you guys all have links to this stuff because there is stuff in the help section, but not to spend too much time on this section. But go back to email signature and edit. Once you go to edit, you'll see there's a lot of different things here, but this middle row, go all the way over to the right, you'll see what looks like a little picture image. That's where you click it, and that URL you copied, you're going to go ahead and paste it right there. Oops, I didn't copy it or paste it, but you would paste it right there. And then, so you will see it might be huge, right? So right here, if you guys can follow me on the width and height, you generally want to keep it below 200. So we recommend maybe like put in 150 to maybe like 100. And you can adjust the sizing and mess with it. But usually 150 for the width, maybe 100 on the actual height. Click OK, and then you'll see kind of how it saves. But if you want to make it bigger, you can make the adjustments accordingly. Cool? Boring stuff, sorry. All right, so that's that. And I want to make sure I get you guys what you need as we go through it, but I don't want to get too caught up into the whole setup stuff. But I definitely understand you guys wanted to move along and make sure you guys are doing what you need. So profile section, once you have that all set up, the other thing you can set up, we do offer direct mail. That's a part of what we can do as an option. So if you're into sending direct mail, this is where you just put in your sender address and information and save that. So when you send direct mail, that's obviously going to be the send address saved for you and automated. So still in the profile section, on the left-hand side here, more setup stuff. This section right here, this is where you obviously want to import your contacts. So wherever the heck you're keeping your contacts, whether it's already Excel or maybe a different CRM or different platform, you want to export and get it into an Excel CSV format. Once you get it into Excel CSV, there's a whole different article on this as well, which will walk you through it nice and slow. I'm kind of going fast, but this is where you're going to go ahead and import the contacts. Pretty easy to do once you have it. Select the file in Excel. It'll allow you to match the fields, so match first name with first name, last name with last name, address, etc. Import it, and it's pretty easy to import. I think you can do about 1,000 at a time and no more than 26 rows across. So if you have 26 different fields, most have under that, but 1,000 at a time. We also work with Google, so if you use Google for contacts, you can easily just enter your credentials into that. So you're going to log into your Google stuff here, and you can sync your contacts. It'll ask you which categories you want to sync. So whether it's just whatever category you want or don't want to include, it'll show you what will sync over before, and then you can X out. So if you didn't want to include family, maybe you have family members in your Google, you can X out of that and make sure those don't sync over. But Google, that's also an option to get contacts in. Really easy to do with sync. Just log in with your credentials, and those can sync over pretty quickly. Any questions on that stuff? All right.
I would recommend is definitely adding yourself first.
Try it as an example.
Send yourself emails, set yourself up on texting yourself. Make sure your signature line comes across where your picture isn't, 500 by 500.
Yep.
It's always good to see what your clients are receiving as well.
Good call. The other thing I wanted to show you here real quick, last thing in the profile section. So once you get all that stuff set up, that's kind of the pain in the butt stuff. But once it's in, that part's over and you can move forward. This manage subscription and limit section right here, this will just show you what's included in your package. So as CRMLS, you have 1,000 emails that's included. So every month that will re-up. So every month you can send 1,000 outbound emails. There's no limit on how many you receive back, obviously. Texts, that's a big part of what we do. That is limited on what you guys include in the CRMLS package. I think we give you 100 to try out. So if you want to try the texting feature, we give you 100. I'll go over pricing on what that would be after. I don't want to sit here and try to upsell you guys a bunch of stuff, but that is a really big feature that I'll make sure you guys are aware of. And then obviously video text is something I think we give CRMLS. I believe you guys have 20 or 25 to start with on the video text. 15, thank you. 15 to start on the video text. So if you wanted to try those as well, you have 15 to send. And then if you wanted to purchase after that, you have the ability to do so. This is also where if you want to upgrade or do any modifications to your package, you can actually do so throughout here as well. Here's pricing, just so you guys know on the text messaging stuff. The texting, and I'll jump into it, it's pretty big, I think, in a new way to kind of reach out to your customers. The big thing with texting, quite honestly, is that it has over a 90% open rate versus emails, which is below, I think, 15% nowadays. So texting is great if you want to make sure, obviously, that whatever you're sending is going to get open and viewed. Let's jump on into it. Good call. So the texting for that, you have to purchase. It's a custom texting number, okay? So it has to do with legalities. It's kind of not a loophole, but it's kind of a workaround for that. So we can't use your cell phone to send text through our system. So you do purchase a custom texting number. It's $5 per month for the number. That gets you the number. You choose whatever area code you want, and then from there, I believe it gives you 10 to 20 different numbers to choose from. Once you choose your number, great, you have that texting number. That's really what you're going to be using for texting. So when you're using the system to text, and I'll show you what that looks like, it's going to come from that custom number. Any responses will come back to you through the app and also notify you through text message on your phone. If anyone decided to call that number back, it'll actually forward over to the number that you have in LionDesk, that cell phone number through the profile that you have. So a lot of agents actually use the custom number on their business cards just because that's what they're familiar with. That's what you're texting from. And if they call it back, it's just going to forward to your cell phone anyway.
Yeah, hands down, I use it on all the signs, my business card, because it's also helps with lead generation. So if I'm out and about and I give somebody my card and they happen to text that number, I'll get all of their information put right into LionDesk as a client per se. And then, there's spam and things I don't want to see, and I'll right off the bat see who it is. No, it's not a client, calling from who knows where. But it keeps track also, if you're texting your client, the text messages will show up in their record and keeps track of that as well. I mean, there's a lot of really good uses for it. For the follow-up and the sales portion.
Yeah, I'll show you guys an example of that. So the next section I'll show you, now we're getting to more of like the actual using LionDesk stuff away from the more setup stuff. Pull this up here. So in the contact section, so again, all of your navigation tabs are always along the left-hand side. So the only one that's not is the profile. That's the one you have to go upper right-hand corner, click your profile. That's where you set up. Dashboard I just showed you. Again, quick hit glance at what's been going on, how many leads have come in, etc. Contacts is the next section here. This is where agents are going to spend the majority of their time. So this is kind of a bird's eye view of the database, kind of from a glance. Completely customizable as far as what you want to see, but you can see the different fields associated with these, so you can do different things. If you wanted to go to this section right here is columns, right? This is going to allow you to go ahead and customize what you see. So in contacts, if you hit that columns button, over here on the left is what your options are. These are all the different fields you have available versus what you see in here. So if you wanted to add something that wasn't in there that was important to you, maybe it's birthday or whatever it may be, you can add that just by clicking this. So if I wanted to add birthday, you can add it. It puts it over into that, and then now it's going to show up. You can also change the order of where it's going to go. So if you wanted to see name before assigned, you can just drag and drop that, and it'll do that. Click upgrade. It's going to change what you see. More so what you're going to be using here as an agent is, let's just do like a real life example, right? So let's say you just got a brand new listing, right? So you have all of your contacts in here. You can organize your contacts. I won't get into that right now, but there's different ways to organize your contacts with different tags or different lead sources, however you want to filter your contacts. But one thing a lot of agents are doing is taking advantage of tags, right? So that's just a way for you to identify who that person is. So if it's a buyer, you're going to tag them as a buyer, right? If it's a seller, you might tag them as a seller. If they're looking in a specific neighborhood, you might want to tag them as that neighborhood or whatever the name is. It's really up to you, and this is where you have the freedom to kind of use the tags as you want. But to keep it simple real quick, I'll just show you how you can use the filters. So I'm going to go back. I'm in the contact section. This section up here, filter contacts. A lot of different options for filters, but to keep it simple, I'm just going to go to the different tags I have already set up. These you have to set up ahead of time, by the way, but let's say I wanted to sort by, do this real quick. That's going to be under settings, actually. Yep. And I'm going to do this real quick, sorry.
So some of the tags while he's doing this that I use personally, depending on who I'm marketing, if I do have a new listing, I can go under a buyer if I have a listing in 92024. I'm in San Diego. And I can pull up, let's say, I don't know, pretend there's 30 of them in there. I can blast out a flyer or, email or text message to those buyers. I can customize it so it shows their name on the top. Hey Sam, it's Sheila. I just got a new listing. Was thinking of you. They don't know I'm sending this out to 20 or 30 other people. I can even do it by video. I don't have to say their name on that. I can make that more general and generic, and then send it out to everybody else. And then another way also is if you are actually trying to prospect and you have these clients you haven't been able to reach and just are receiving leads from Facebook or from wherever they may be. I go in there under filter contacts, and you can also basically, who have I not contacted in the last 2 weeks or 7 days or whatever it might be. So there's different ways to be able to filter through in order you utilize it best for you in order to actually sell, which is the point, right? I mean, you don't want to just have a nice little cute organized system that looks good. You want to sell. You're wanting to make money.
Yep.
Anyhow.
Yeah, good point. So this is the different filters that you can do here. So if I wanted to, like she said, it's a listing and select only my buyers, that would probably make sense to select buyers. This is under contacts. Yep, so contacts over here on the left-hand side. We're in contacts and filter contacts up top. So once you have all your contacts, like once you click contacts, you'll see all of your contacts. I have 223 in here. But let's say I do have a new listing and I want to share it with all of my potential buyers. I would go to filter contacts, select my tag as buyer, pretty quickly and easily just apply the filter. And then you can see it's now taken all 225 and only showing me who's tagged as a buyer, right? From here, once you have those identified, you can just click kind of a select all action up here. Once you do that, there's some different buttons up here. Bulk actions is the one that you're probably going to be using a lot. This is a huge time saver. This you can do many different things from in bulk, but you've identified your group. You've now taken the 225, only identified who you have tagged as buyers, so you can do some marketing and make sure you're hitting the right people. You can either email all 70 of these at once, and it's not a group setting. It's going to email them all individually. Send them a text. You can do direct mail campaigns. Put them on drip campaigns. There's a lot you can do, but just to show you guys what you can do, whether a text or email, let's say you wanted to email all 70 of these contacts, since that's something that's included for you guys, your new listing, right? Once you do that, you can see it's going to queue up all of them here. Again, it's not a group message. It's going to individually email them. And then should look familiar just like anything else, any regular email you send, right? So you put in a subject line or whatever you want here. Type in whatever you want your email to be, or you can also create templates within LionDesk ahead of time. So if you have something you're doing a lot, very commonly, time saver, go ahead and create a template. Any templates you have will be available over here on the left-hand side. So if you want to just autofill a template for new listing that you get, you can do that. I don't have one to use an example here, but you can type in whatever content you wanted right here. This is something I do want to show you because I mentioned being obviously personable. You don't want to just use a generic email for all 70. What you can do with LionDesk is in the email, you can actually insert their first name. So we're about to email over 70 people, right? We don't want to just say hello, nobody. So we want to go ahead and enter a specific field so we can actually custom insert their first name. So it's going to pull that. If you go to this LionDesk button here, it's going to pull this up, and this is where you can select what you want it to pull from. So first name, let's just say to keep it simple for now. Hello, first name, you can continue on, but once they receive that, it will actually pull their first name. Once you're ready, you can either schedule timing for when you want to send it out. Most people are just going to send it immediately. Click send, you can attach a link to that listing if you wanted to, and then boom, you've reached all 70 people pretty quickly. all from using bulk actions within the contact section.
And the one thing I would recommend doing prior to doing any bulk is when you see your list, make sure, like, I mean, I'm not gonna repeat a word in here that probably shouldn't be said, but you know, sometimes you get leads and they're not their first name.
Yep.
Or if it's just one initial, or if, you know, where it looks like it shouldn't be, those are ones I would send individually and just say hi, or hey there, or I don't have your first name, or something to that effect. So just FYI, because it'll pull up whatever the lead has put in there. If you haven't added that in yourself and it's just come across on the
Yeah, it won't pull.
Does that make sense? We all, right? I mean, we've all seen like the whatever.
You know firsthand, sure.
Can you show us how to create filters?
Filters? Sure. So I'll go back to the filter section here. So once you have, again, in your contact section, if you wanted to identify your group, you're going to go to filters to start, right? So I'm going to remove my old filters. This red button here is going to remove whatever I've put in already. So I'm going to start from scratch. You're going to go to filter contacts, again, up top. And this is where you can basically do whatever you'd like. So if you wanted to save a filter, once you create a filter, this is where you can do a lot with filters, right? So I think what by far the majority of the agents are going to use to keep it simple for you guys today is going to be tags. So whoever you have identified as with certain tags, that's mainly the way people are going to filter when they're trying to identify who they want to specifically market to. And the hotness levels as well, yeah. So hotness levels is also something that you can disposition within here. So if you have, you know, someone that you wanted to reach out to, that's all marked as hot. Let's just do that, right? So you can do that. Apply the filter.
5 people are looking to buy and or sell.
Yep. Yep, so that I only have 5 out of the 225 that are marked as hot in this example, right? So you can save this filter if you're going to use this one a lot. Commonly, you can create new saved filter. Where's that?
Your tags.
Oh yeah, tags over here on the right if you want to identify those. But this one I only filtered for hotness, right? So it's only going to show me who's hot. But that's where you can do. So you can spend a lot of time in this filter contact section. You can get really nitty gritty if you wanted to get really specific, like Sheila was using an example, show me everyone I haven't emailed in the last 2 weeks. You can actually do that. So last email sent or text sent after, you know, let's say between February 6th and today, show me everyone that I haven't emailed or last email sent. You can apply that. There's a lot you can do in the filters. Lead sources.
Once you start adding more in, let's just say you get a list from title, and you can source those, and you want to add, you know, 200 people or whatever it is around your listing, because eventually it's going to be hard to keep up. When you've got 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 leads in there that you've added,
Yep.
this is what makes it key from the very get-go to start tagging those people. If you did have a list from a specific listing, I would tag it as whatever that property address was. You know, because there's going to be some people you don't necessarily need to follow up with all the time. But the more you start adding in there, the harder it's going to be to back up, which is what I had to do. And because this was not around when I started 15 years ago, so I've added in, I saved all my stuff on an Excel, and eventually added it all into here, and then it's going back and seeing, okay, who do I need to contact and what would best. And then comments, I think, hands down, if we don't touch that, making notes on your client records. That's one of the things underneath this filter is where you can see the
Comments.
columns. If you're just actively looking through and you want to see any of your comments there, or when the last time it was that you spoke or done or what was said, write it down. That's the whole purpose of having a client resource management is being able to know what was said and keeping track of that.
Okay, so every time you enter a comment, whether it's through your app or desktop, it automatically inputs it in for you, or you have to do it?
It's in there.
It timestamps it.
Yeah. The only thing you have to do is if you're wanting to do a future task, then you would add in, okay, I want to contact this person in a week. Because again, that's something else where it's hard to follow. It's just like making doctor's appointments or knowing that you have to go get your teeth cleaned in 6 months or whatever it may be. More than likely, you're going to have that in your phone calendar. So it's the same.
And then also through the board, since you have a certain amount of text messaging, does that renew every month, or no, you do have to buy the text messaging?
Once you purchase it, it renews every month. So it's like it's $15 a month for I think 1,000 text messages a month. So you'd pay $15 a month, and then every month that renews.
Or else it's just based on that.
Correct.
They get the 15 a month, and that will renew, but you can't renew.
No, you guys get 15 total. So like the texting, right? You have, I think, 100 total texts and then 15 video text. That's like straight up. Like once you run out, you run out. That's for you to try it and see if you like it. Then from there, you have the option to actually purchase, and then that's renewing. Emails is automatically renewed. You have 1,000 a month, right? So that's why I wanted to show you email. So again, let's say I'll show you real quick on the email. So I'm going to go back. Let's say same thing. I'm going to use the same scenario, but I want to show you the buyers, right? So new listing, go to my contacts, filter it on my buyers, apply it. I'm going to queue all these up like I was. Again, bulk actions. I could do the text if I wanted to text all 70 of these people, but let's say email. I'll show you real quick. We already sent all 70 of them potentially an email, right? We can write whatever message we want right here, insert the content. But if we did go ahead and record a video, so video is something you guys get as part of the package with emails. So if you want to send video emails, that's all included. As long as you have, X amount of emails left, you can always include a video in each. For the video, there's two ways to record video, okay? So you can either do it straight from the actual platform here on the PC, or you can do it through your phone. Most agents, I think Sheila would say, are doing it through their phone on the fly. It's a really quick hit video, like just got a new listing. It's like, hey, this is Ryan from ABC Realty, got this new listing, wanted to share it, check it out. I'll show you like a quick example. In this section, so before you could either do the LionDesk to insert like the custom fields or the video. This is where you're going to access your video library. So not only do we want to send all 7 of these people an email, but let's include a video. Click on that. This will bring you up to whatever videos you've already shot. They upload automatically once you do it through the phone app or through the PC. And then, I don't know if there's volume or not.
This is huge. This is pretty exciting.
Yeah, big part.
Used to not be able to.
Yeah, there's no sound on it. But this is where you can obviously access your videos. This one is just a quick example to where I just pretended like I was in front of the house, just listed this. I wanted to share it with you before it hits the market kind of thing, right? Insert that video, and then when they receive the video, it's actually going to be an inline video, so it's not a link, it's not spammy, it'll actually be a play video, so they can actually click it. It's not, again, a link. Same thing with our video text. If you wanted to take advantage of the video texting, you could do the same thing. But video is really big. Again, it's just a way for you to differentiate yourself.
So just to confirm what you said, you can do a video through email and it doesn't count as part of the 15 video message.
Correct. Yeah, the 15 is strictly for texting, right? So the one thing we offer is texting, right? So you guys only get 100 to try out. If you wanted to purchase the texting, it's $5 a month for the custom number, and then you can choose, I think it's $10 a month for 500, $15 a month for 1,000. Or $25 a month for 2,000 texts. So if
$30 a month for
Yep.
2,000 plus your custom number.
For sure. Yep.
So since we get 1,000 emails per month, does it show a total, what monthly total?
It will. So if you go back to your profile under manage subscriptions and limits, I'll show you. This is where you guys can always reference. Say that again.
It says on the top of the email too after you send it after this.
Oh, yeah, it'll show you as you send it. It shows you how many you have left. Good point. Or you can always access it through your profile here and manage subscriptions and limits will show you.
If you're not texting, I would start.
Yeah, again, the big thing with that, guys, it's open rate, right? Email's still a good way to communicate, but I think, like, just quick example, you guys all probably have very few unread texts on your phone right now, right? Versus if you check your personal email, you probably have an absolute ton of unread emails. So that's why texting's great. And again, I'm not trying to upsell you guys, but it's a really good way for you to communicate as long as you're doing it right and not just spamming people, right? But if you have a good list of good quality people that are genuinely interested, if you have a new listing or want to share some information in general, great way to reach them. Obviously, you guys are all familiar with texting. So good point. So we're actually working with its CoreLogix Matrix and then also Paragon, right? You guys have both systems. We're working to where you can actually within that system click sync and it will automatically sync in LionDesk. So that's coming soon. So just a heads up, for the time being, what you would do through that system is you can export your contacts and it exports it into CSV format already for you. And then once you have that, you go into LionDesk and import contacts in. So it's export out, import in from the MLS. Yeah, there's a section where you can actually export the contacts from there. Sure. So again, guys, the contact section, there's a lot you can do with it. And I know we're moving pretty quick here, but great way. Once you have all your contacts in, you have them organized, you have them tagged. I know we didn't go over like how to actually do that yet, but once you have it in, I just wanted to show you kind of some examples of what you can do with the platform. So really up to you. What I wanted to show you next is once you actually go into a specific contact, so what we were looking at before was kind of a bird's eye view. Let's say I actually want to click into Joe Schmo because he's called me out of the blue or responding to maybe something I've sent him. You can look him up. You click on him. This is what it's going to look like once you actually go into his profile. So here's his profile, everything basically you would expect to see, name, phone number. From here, this is where we set up the validation of the phone number. So if you wanted to call him, you can click call, and it's going to call him out automatically. Click to dial. You could send him a text directly from here. Just all his basic information, address. This is where you can see what tags you have him as. If you just had a new conversation with him and found out that, you know, he's now looking to spend $1 million instead of 800,000, you can create a new tag, you know, as $1 million, and that'll save it. So anything you want, like a lot of people use, and I think this is actually pretty cool, but a lot of people use tags for all kinds of different stuff, whether, you know, you met someone, you're at the dog park all the time and, you know, talking business there. Anyone you meet at dog park, you could tag as dog park. You know, that's where you met them from. Anything you type in there. So yeah, you can create your own tags right from here. And then also in the settings, if you wanted to do like tags for in general, just so it's always there and available for you as a drop down, in the settings section, you can do that as well.
And you can tag bulk, where he showed you, bulk 100 times at once and tag them all.
Right. Yeah, a lot you can do in the bulk action stuff. I know we hit on that pretty quick. Custom fields, again, this is where if you have a field that you wanted to add. I just had a lady the other day. This is actually pretty cool, a little bit different, but spoke to a lady who's actually keeping track, speaking of pets, of everybody that she meets, all of her contacts. She's actually tracking the name of the pet's birth date, and what type of pet it is, obviously. So what she's doing, and she's absolutely killing it on, she said, is she's actually tracking all that information and then setting a task. So anytime that the dog's birthday comes up, right, it'll give her a reminder. And she actually sends them like a little happy birthday package and maybe gives them a call. But she said, I mean, she's killing it. She's getting all kinds of referrals and a lot of repeat business from that. And that's kind of the whole point of this stuff. It's just like getting creative with a way to actually follow up and keep those relationships going. Weird example, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, but nurturing.
Nurturing, for sure.
Yeah, it could be kids, you know, that was.
Right. I think most people like their dogs over kids, but hey. Question? So you can use the texts. It's going to come from a generic 954 number. So you guys will all see in that profile section, that first section we hit, which you go to the top right on, under custom number, it'll show you that you don't have a custom number. It's a generic 954 number. So that's where it's going to come from until you buy the actual custom number. But it'll still notify you if anyone texts back. Yeah, and again, not to keep hitting on the custom number stuff, but if you guys are actually going to be using this stuff and want to go all in, I think it's really worth it just to purchase the custom number. It just makes sense, I think, just in general for obviously keeping in touch with these people and getting the open rate that you want.
One thing too to note regarding the video texting what you send to a client is if you are holding an open house and you can, I don't know if you're going to touch on the short codes or not.
Yeah, I will.
You can have them like text 1234 or text Sheila Rock to this number, whatever it might be, the open house or text open. They'll get an automated text back from you at that point, but that way you're getting their information rather than a sign-in sheet. My brother likes to say, you know, use it for security purposes. The owner wants me to make sure you text my number so they know who came through the house. You have their information here. It actually pulls up social media sites on these people. You know, you're able not, we're not, you know, it's not, it's a good thing. I'm not interested necessarily in browsing my which I don't think that's even around anymore, is it?
No, that's what I was going to, yeah, that's pretty funny. That's the next thing I was getting to, and you're right, I am going to hit on that, Sheila, so I'll show them. Down here, the other thing in the profile, what we pull automatically is link to their email. We scrub it. I think every 24 hours our system scrubs to see what social demographics they're part of. So if they're part of Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, anything that's associated to their email, it'll automatically capture it for you, and you'll be able to view it down here. Obviously, this is a dummy account, joe@schmo.com. Someone actually used that for MySpace, so it'll pull the MySpace. Yeah, which does not exist anymore. But that'll always pull, which is really nice if you want to get familiar with them and obviously take a deeper dive into that. The timeline over here on the right, did you have something?
I was just gonna say it also sources, depending on when he gets in the short code, it will source where it came from, because you can automatically have that code source or
Yep.
tag for you. So that when you go back to your desk, you can see how many people came to your open house. You can then send them a video text saying thank you so much for coming. Here's my contact info, here's a picture of the property again, whatever it might be, it's just that follow up. And
Yep.
then it saves it under their record.
For sure. And then we touched on this earlier, but like the time stamping stuff someone asked about as far as communication goes. So any communication that you do in LionDesk is all going to be tracked and stamped in here. So they have this view over here on the right-hand side. What I prefer is in the profile, there's some different tabs up here. You can see different stuff, but timeline is one of them. Yep, so I'll start from the bottom. So this is where you can see all the history of what's happened with this lead from start to finish. So one thing I mentioned is, so we connect with a lot of other best-in-class stuff, right? So LionDesk doesn't actually create websites, but we plug in with all the major websites out there, so most IDX sites. So a lot of agents obviously are using sites. So if you have a website and you're generating leads from there, not only can we pull in the actual lead information once it's created, but for the majority of them at least, for the websites, we actually can track the website activity. So it'll actually stamp what that particular individual's doing on your website, meaning what properties they're looking at, and it stamps it. So you're already familiar with what properties they're looking at, you know, obviously what their price range is going to be, what type of home they're interested in. So here's one example of where someone was on their website and it's time stamping it for you all along the way. So you can always reference that. Text messages here, you can see, obviously there was text sent back and forth, so that conversation's all tracked within here. We sent them a cloud CMA in this example, right? We integrate with cloud. That's one of the integrations we do. If you ever wanted to reference what you sent, that's stamped in there in PDF, so you can see, hey, what did I actually send them? But that's all in there. So you guys get the point. But emails, anything, any communication back and forth, obviously aside from phone call conversations, it's not going to record those, but those are all tracked. Same with video, text, or emails you sent out. That's in there. Sure.
If they go to my website and I have something for them to fill in, they fill in their name, and would it come to my?
Yes, that'll pull in. Yeah, so what we'll do is basically we connect to your site, so we integrate with it, right? Depending on your site, but I think 99% of the sites out there we integrate with to where we can at least pull in that information. And then from there, the majority, we can actually pull in the website activity too. So if they're actually on your website and active, it'll timestamp what they're doing in the LionDesk.
Just, hey, just was thinking of you. You don't tell them, they were just on the website 2 minutes ago, and they're like, oh, wow, I was just looking at your site. Oh, wow.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
Yep. So that's what's nice. The activity, you can really reference whatever conversation has been going back and forth. Cloud, obviously, like I said, that's one we integrate with. If you use cloud, we can show you how to do that. That's in our how-to section. Really easy to connect that. But once you do that, you can easily send a cloud directly from this profile. It just confirms their address and their email. You can click create, and it'll actually email them a PDF of a CMA. Any questions on the contact section?
And how do you add a conversation log? If you're on the phone with them, you just go into the contact activity, timeline, click on contact, add whatever you want. Boom, you're done.
Yeah, so let's say I'm in the profile right now for Joe. This section right here, you can see this red box, add new activity. So if you had an actual phone conversation, that's the one thing that doesn't track. Good point. You'd want to log that, right? So you would actually click add, and then you can choose what type. Probably just going to be, a comment, and you could hear, you just spoke to, Joe, whatever notes you wanted to put in and save, and it'll actually stamp it in there as well.
Can you bring them up then?
Yep. Yeah, everything's in there. So again, from start to finish, you can see what's been happening with that particular lead in any email conversation, text conversation, you name it. So a lot in there. Any other questions on the contact section? Sure. We don't. You have to schedule reminders, so we don't have anything automated as far as that goes. You'd want to create your own tasks, so you could schedule out for future or drip campaigns, right? So a big thing that we do is like drip campaigns. So if you're working with a certain type of lead, let's say you're working with, Facebook or Zillow, when a lead comes in, you can put it on a drip campaign where it's going to automatically not only send a text or an email on your behalf without you having to do it, it also can schedule a task, which will remind you as part of the drip campaign at a certain point. You do. You have to create it or select one. We have a lot of pre-made, and then I'll show you a community section that we have of the drip campaigns because, drip campaigns are a lot of work to create from scratch. I think we all know that, right? It's not the most fun thing to do. You have to create all the content and then the timing of it all. So we get that. I'm in the marketing section. I'll move on from contacts into marketing over here. Marketing section is where you can create templates and drip campaigns. And then one other thing I'll show you in a second. But templates, pretty straightforward. You can either create an email template or a text template. This next tab over here in the marketing, this is the main one, autopilot drip campaigns. This is where we have a lot of pre-made ones over here on the left for just like generic buyer, generic seller campaigns that are decent. Honestly, nothing great or too special, but a good start if you wanted to use it as a base. This section over here, and again, guys, I'm in marketing. Once I'm in marketing, there's templates, and the second tab over here to the right is auto drip campaigns. This one you absolutely want to check out. This red section, this is basically a public section where other LionDesk users have created their own email and text, whatever you call it, drip campaigns, whichever you prefer. And they post it here to where other LionDesk users can view it, and if they like it, they can actually download it. Huge time saver, and I think we have over 3,500 different templates in there. But quick example, let's say you guys just started, you're an agent, obviously you just started working with Facebook leads. If you wanted to say, hey, you know what, let me see what templates are out there or drip campaigns for Facebook, there's a search bar within here over here on the right, and I can just search whatever I wanted. So let's say Facebook, and you can see all kinds of different campaigns for Facebook leads. What most do in this section, you can see all the different ones. You can see how many downloads each one has. So that's basically how many other LionDesk users have downloaded it. I would say probably the more downloads, the better the campaign typically, because other people have already done the legwork and downloaded it. But you can take a look at different campaigns here if you wanted to view it. This one has 130 downloads, so it's probably a pretty decent Facebook drip campaign. You can view it to kind of see what the content is and what the timing is. And if you liked it, this one's pretty good. It looks like it's a blended drip campaign, so it's a combination of emails and text messages in response to a Facebook lead. But if you ended up going through it and you liked it, then you can easily download it. So you could just download it right here. And then from there, once it's downloaded, you can edit it to your liking. And then once you're ready, you can just basically assign it to a particular lead source. It doesn't. No, there's no like the success rate kind of thing. No, that would be sweet. It doesn't. No. It will. It's just not tied to that particular campaign is the only problem. So it'll show you in general how successful you are, but not like that specific campaign. But good point.
And read them first.
Yeah.
They're not proofread by anybody. They have them in there. You may not have the same style somebody else has. And some are really long. I mean, they're great though. I use these.
Yeah, definitely good for, like I said, a good base. If you generally like it and all the legwork's done, then you can go in there and put little tweaks to it and then make it your own.
And when your client responds to you, it automatically will stop sending them the campaign.
Yeah.
Because you don't want it, obviously, to continue sending it if they touch base with you.
So, it's like a marketplace, right? So
Yeah.
if you want to share it, it goes in there? Or
You can share a campaign. So if you've created your own from scratch, which you can do, you can share it and it'll go here. You have to add it to the public library. So if you create one and don't want to share it, don't worry about it. It's private. That's only for you. We also have the ability, brokers a lot of the time, like we'll have brokers that create their own campaigns for their agents, and then they can share it but put a password on it, so only people who have the password can access it. Do you have a question in the back?
Yeah, what she just spoke about, if you had a conversation
they contact you via text or email, the system will automatically stop the templates from going out. Now, if you call them, then you need to go in and disable, turn it off,
Stop the campaign.
stop the campaign.
If they've replied, it will automatically stop that campaign.
And you can, I double check, you know, I mean, because I've had people say, wait a minute, I'm still receiving. It's like, oh, sorry, my marketing department's just great. They're following up, you know, whatever, even though it's just me.
Yep.
I'll go in and check the client record just to make sure that the rest of the tasks are turned off.
Yep. So that's the campaign. Again, the nice thing with campaigns is, again, automation, right? So if you have a lead source that's coming in, you're not having to, as soon as a lead comes in, stop and drop everything you're doing and try to contact them right away. It'll kind of do the legwork for you. So, you know, you might have from your website, right? Let's say you are working with a website and a new lead is generated. You can create or add a campaign to basically maybe the first one immediately sends out a text as soon as that lead comes in that says, hey, first name. It'll pull in their first name. Just got your inquiry. That's a great property. When's a good time to connect, right? Maybe they don't respond, and you could do another one where the timing's set out to 12 minutes after that. It'll automatically send another text that says, hey, just let me know, ... right? Then they're like, oh, wow, I actually needed this person's actually waiting on me and trying to engage. Like, that's the whole point of this stuff is it's not like a magic solution, but it's doing a lot of the legwork to get it to engage. Once they engage, you guys do what you do and sell, right? Jump on the horn and go ahead and sell them. But this is really just getting them to engage. That's what the drip campaigns do, to where live time, if you're out in the field and a new lead comes in, you don't have to worry about getting to it. Our system's automatically emailing or texting in response to that new lead for you.
They're on your site, they're on other sites at the same time.
Yeah.
You just want to be the one to
Sure.
Since you're able to save the text, are you able to export it like into a Spectrum?
Yeah, so I guess what do you mean export what? The text conversations? You can export those, yeah. That's something you can export for sure and then do what you'd like with them. If you wanted to import into a different system, you could absolutely do that. Any other questions on the campaign stuff? All right. So the other section in the marketing, this is a big one. This is the one Sheila was mentioning. I think it's really highly underused. I think a lot of people just don't know about it. Once you get the custom number, it opens up this section right here. So again, I'm still in marketing. These are the different tabs up here. I was on autopilot drip campaign. This is the text/call to sell tab. And this is where you can use this really as like a marketing platform. A lot of different ways you can use this. Couple examples is most agents are using this in replace of like the for sale flyers on the for sale sign with a sign writer. So this is what you're using basically for text messaging. So as a sign writer, rather than the flyer, you might create a sign writer that says text, and you create the code. I'll show you how that works. Home to this number, which is going to be your custom number, to receive a link with more information and pictures on this property, right? Once someone drives by and actually texts that, maybe they don't want to get out of the car and grab the flyer. We all know half the time they're empty, right? And you don't know who's grabbed it. That's the other thing too. It's like the flyers are great, but you don't know who's taken what. You never know if they're empty or what the deal is. If you'd have a sign writer using the short code, for example, and you put text home to this number for more information, anyone that drives by and texts that short code to your number that you've created will basically get whatever you want them to get. So you can create short codes. So here's an example of one. I've created one that says home for my sign writer. Once they text, you can go ahead and create whatever they're going to or input whatever they're going to receive. So maybe it's a link to that particular property or listing, maybe to your website, right? And then in addition to that, you can actually put in an automatic text response. So the person that drove by texts home to that number, they now get the link to that listing. So they get the pictures and the information that you told them you'd give them with an instant response, something along the lines of, thanks for your interest in this property. Here's the link. Let me know what you think or what questions you might have. So you're getting them all that information right away. The big part is that our system actually scrubs from that number and captures their information. So it's going to pull in their first name, their last name, their phone number, generally always their email that's out there. Sometimes it gets really in-depth, almost a little bit creepy, but like other things like marital status, whatever's out there, it'll actually scrub on them and import as a new lead into LionDesk with all of that in there. For sure.
Both sides of income. I joke with my girlfriend who uses it for dating. Because
That's one way to use it.
give them your LionDesk number. What are you doing? And you can see exactly who comes through.
Yeah, totally.
And if it's a different name. One thing too to touch on is your listings as well on the showing. If you know, depending on if you're using the showing time, or I like to do the short code on it because it will automatically text the listing agent back and say, "Hi, thank you for inquiring." Because I know that it's coming in for that property because I have a short code set up for that specific property. Let me know what time you want to show, your BRE number, your name, blah blah blah, and then I don't even have to text back. I could be, you know, in the middle of dinner. It will
It's all automated.
just do it for me, and I'll see when I have the showing. I can contact the client. Hey, does 2 p.m. work? And then I can contact the listing agent back to confirm. So it saves me a ton of steps and time.
So the code, the home, or text me or my name, is that unlimited?
Unlimited.
So on the techie side, how does it know that it's you?
What do you mean by that? Sorry.
Well, because I'm not the only one who has home. Like if I text home,
Oh, because it's your number. It's your custom number.
oh, so you're texting that number.
It's all linked to the actual number, so the number is always consistent, but it's the short code that changes, so it's always your number.
So essentially they'll text it to you with the code, and the system will know based on if you have a ton of them, based on
So
the
the
code.
message is the code.
For sure. And same thing, so a lot of different ways, like open houses, a lot of agents are using it rather than the standard sign-in sheet. They'll just put up something that says texts, whatever you want, whatever your code is, open to this number, your custom number as you walk in. It'll email or it'll text them like a link to that property, right? So as they're walking through, they get it on their phone, maybe in a PDF, an instant responder. Hey, thanks for registering. For security, that's great, for sure. That's a great way to track it. Yep, that is a really good point. But it's great because then what you can do is after the open house is open, you know who's actually attended it. You can queue all those up like I showed you in an email or text, right? You know who's done it. Filter by tag. You can make sure that whoever does this, a tag is associated with it. And then send them a thank you for attending email, or text.
It depends. You can add, so he added his URL up there, the link. I didn't necessarily, like for the listing agents, or it didn't necessarily have a link in there to send them to. It just sent me a text directly, and then they then are in my LionDesk platform as a client, but because I have coded it under, like to tag this client, if somebody texts me this code, tag it as a listing agent. So then I know it's not a client and I'm not gonna market to them in the future. It just shows the listing agent, it shows the property address. Yes,
Yeah, it is.
It is, absolutely. If you utilize it correctly, it does a lot of work for you.
Yep.
And then you can keep in touch with the agents because you kind of, you wanted a friend. You're going to hopefully work with them, or possibly if they have a listing down the road, and they know you're organized and on top of it.
Yeah, a lot of different uses. Social media, you could use it on, like LionDesk does it for all the events we attend. Like on the flyers, we'll put text, line to this number to receive more information and pricing on LionDesk. So everyone texts that. And then we now have everyone who is interested in it, put them on a drip campaign, get them to start a trial. So we use it the same thing. It's a marketing tool, but pretty powerful stuff. Exactly. It does, yeah. So you can separate them. It does all link to the code. So the not problem is, but if you have multiple properties, which would be a good problem to have at once, you'd want to make sure they're all different codes, right? So maybe home 1, home 2, whatever it may be. Yep. Or the property address. Yep.
And where are you setting those up? Those short codes? Right here.
So right here, so I'm actually in it. So marketing section.
So we don't have access to it right now.
This only unlocks, just to be clear on that too, guys, it only unlocks with a custom number because it's texting, right? It's all instant response. It's all text-based, so that's why. So another reason, I think that's what Sheila was mentioning too, and I don't want to keep hitting on the custom number stuff, but if you guys really want to try it for $5 a month to get the custom number and then, month to month on the text messaging, huge open rate. I mean, the difference between that and email is night and day. And then you also open up this feature, which alone, there's products out there that are charging like $100, $150 a month just for like this text to sell feature. So it's not a bad deal.
Well, because LionDesk creates a number essentially. If you remember back in the day, I don't know, but I remember calling Pat Bell and he gave me a list of 10 numbers and I had, could choose one on the phone before there were cell phones. And, essentially you don't have to. It's just nice to have for the purposes of doing all this. And then if you guys decide that, okay, I don't want to use LionDesk anymore, but my phone number's on my business cards and all over my open house signs, you can take that number, you can buy the number and take it with you. So it's just releasing it essentially from the phone company to LionDesk to you guys. Not,
Yep. And that's why, guys, sorry, I know we went through like a lot of this setup stuff like really, really fast, but like I wanted to get you guys like an overview on like everything LionDesk can potentially do to get you familiar with that. And then if you guys are really going to start using this, obviously the setup's going to be like the first thing we do. Once you actually log in and claim your LionDesk account through CRMLS, we're notified of that and our team actually reaches out to you. You'll get put on a couple drip campaigns, not annoyingly, but it'll give you information about how to get started, some helpful links. And then we also call you to see if you're interested in scheduling like a 20-minute onboarding call to where we can actually help you get set up, go over anything you need, and really kind of walk you through it. Man, this guy's just having a bad experience over here. What? So
you couldn't log in or you did log in?
do me a favor, because, that's... So you scheduled an onboarding call and no one followed through on it? Come talk to me for sure, because that's...
He said he logged in, but he didn't get a call after he logged in.
Yeah, but did you schedule an onboarding call with someone? Like you actually scheduled it? Come talk to me. Let's sidebar that one. For sure. I do want to make sure you're taken care of. For sure. No, I believe you. I believe you.
So up here too, they're showing where the online help is. And then
So online help,
there as well. Every now and then I'll go on and be like, how am I find this?
it's kind of hard to see. We should shine a brighter light on it, quite honestly. But the different tabs over here on the left, online help is really like our help section. Just to show you guys, like if you guys want to take the time and check this out on your own, like if you're on this, even training videos for self-paced stuff, it's awesome because it's like 5 to 7 minute videos, so it's not going to bore you. But really quick hits on everything from as simple as setting up your profile, which I blew through, but this will go through nice and slow and explain it. How to customize your account, importing contacts, organizing contacts, like anything that you really need to be successful is here in a really quick hit short video. But again, with an hour, I just wanted to make sure I was at least able to show you the majority of what it can do. Question? For sure, like for your individual offices. Training's tough, honestly. We do, so in answer to your question, maybe, like we're trying to be flexible with that stuff, but it's hard for manpower because we're everywhere now. What we do have, and not to put you off, but we do have webinars, weekly webinars that you can join that are live, right? So they're interactive, level 1, 2, and 3. You can also schedule the 20-minute onboarding call. And if you really want, let us know. Like if you really want to schedule something separate for your office to take like an hour to go through something, we can probably arrange that for you, just depending on, when's going to be good. But if you want, come see me after. I'll give you my card. Questions?
Just a quick reminder, we do have the CRMLS trainings here at the office once a month.
Oh, good.
Is that part of, will that be part of it?
So that's separate. So CRMLS is they're kind of completely separate on their trainers. So their trainers are just starting to hit the associations as well. I think they're doing generally 1 to 2 hour trainings. But I would definitely encourage, to attend those as well. I'm sure those are going to be pretty good.
And you guys can always utilize me. I'm your outreach coordinator here. So I've gone through the videos that are on the LionDesk website. It's really user friendly. It's just going to take some getting used to.
Yep.
So please ask for my card if you want me to help you individually or in your office.
Question in the back? Yeah, so what I would like to do for you guys, that's what I was talking to Sarah about, quite honestly, because this isn't something, like I think everyone kind of gets shocked, like when the first introduction to LionDesk, there's so much, and it can be really overwhelming. This isn't something that you're just magically going to learn in an hour. You got to put in a lot of time and effort. So what I would like to do is, if we can, I would like to set up like an actual level 1, level 2, and level 3, to where I'm spending an hour just on setup. Like profile, I could easily spend an hour in. So I think that's what we would like to do for you guys in addition to whatever CRMLS is doing. But that's where we'd like to go. You can also, of course, reference our online help and live webinars as well.
It's going to make so much more sense, too, if you dive into it on your own and click on every tab you see, add yourself, even if you have no other contacts in there, send yourself an email, send yourself...
Start simple.
If the texts are going to look a little weird from your own phone, anyways, ignore that weirdness of it. Also, you can't text back directly. When you see that 954 number come through, you'll see, you'll try it. I did in the beginning where I just responded and then it kind of came right back to me. You actually have to see the number it's going to, and it also attaches to the client record if you can click on it. But this is all stuff that you kind of learn. It's like driving.
Start really simple.
You have to jump in.
The first step is getting contacts in and getting them organized and labeled, and like from there, then you can graduate.
When you buy the number, you have to buy back to them.
Yes.
But you have to buy the number.
You have to buy the custom number. You have to get the custom number for texting. So to start, we give you 100 total, but it's from a generic 954 number. So it might be kind of weird, like whoever you're texting. It might be, like she said, I would recommend doing it with like a family member, friend, just to get used to it. But if you're going to start using texting, I think it's worth it to buy the custom number. That way it's one number. They're not confused.
And you can use, I mean, the line doesn't have to use the number.
Did you have a question, by the way? Sure.
Are you limited to only one email address that you can send?
Yes, it is one. Yep. One email address. Yeah, you choose the area code. And then once you choose the area code, you can't like choose the actual number, but it'll give you, I think, an option of 20 numbers to choose from, so you select it. Yeah. So Power Dialer, I didn't touch on because that's an add-on, but the same thing. It's great. Like Power Dialer is awesome if you're going to make a lot of calls, right? So it's a single line dialer. So same thing, right? This contact section, that's why there's so much you could do here, but you can filter out whatever you wanted, specify the group. But if you wanted to just, let's say, call all my ones marked as hot, same thing. You're in contacts, you filter not only bulk actions, but you can select Power Dialer here. Power Dialer, most of you, quite honestly, are not going to use it. I think we have like 5% of our total database that use it. Some do, and the ones that do love it, but it's $59 a month for the Power Dialer, so you got to really be making sure you're making a lot of calls and taking advantage of that. Any other questions or anything I can go back on for you guys?
Yeah, what's the app login again?
So app login is going to be the email address that you have associated in your LionDesk account. And then the password is going to be the password that you use for the MLS login through CRMLS. Question over there?
The upgrade, so if you upgrade for the 34,
Yep.
does it include everything else that you're saying that's $5?
Good point. Yeah, I don't like to talk a whole lot of upgrades because I want to show you guys the value of what you include, but it is good to know. So if you guys did want to upgrade, you can upgrade from the version you have to like what we call the Pro Plus, which is basically everything all in one. You get 2,000 text messages a month, 20,000 emails, the custom number, text to cell. Basically opens up everything aside from the Power Dialer. Normally $50 a month. CRMLS, we're giving it to you guys for $39.99 a month. That's for like the power user. So if you guys are actually just going to go all in and use this thing, it's a pretty good deal for $39 a month. But other than that, you can start with the CRMLS version, make sure you're comfortable with it, and it's for you, and graduate from there. No limit. Yeah, you can dump as many as you want. Any other questions? And if you sign up today, we'll throw in a free knife set. Yeah, you guys already have it. And like, yeah, start simple.
Any questions? There's also Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook group. We have over 10,000 users in. It's a really cool community. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. It's a very active group, but great for getting started if you join the Facebook group. Great community to where if you have questions on getting started and don't want to call LionDesk, you want to actually talk to other LionDesk users, people jump in there all the time and are really happy to help out.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
How does it work with users who are outside the system, like for a lender-realtor relationship?
You can use it actually. So it is configurable in that aspect. The only thing that is really geared toward real estate specific for the majority is those templates I showed you, like in the community section. The majority of our users are specific to real estate agents, but we have a lot of lenders, title, insurance that use it as well because it is pretty modular.
Integrating it with
Well, I mean, how?
Other industries.
Yeah, but how? Like, so for example, how's the link? Is it? You know, with some CRMs on the lender side, you can put who the realtor is. You know,
Gotcha.
Connects it, so you at least know. You know.
you can share a file, like an escrow you're working on. Is that?
Yeah.
You'd create a team.
Yeah, but not only escrow, but like, you know, Amanda calls me, she's like, hey, here's our lead. I put it in, and then, you know, 'cause I have notes on my end, you have notes on your end. Obviously, before we get into escrow, you know, most of the side is the lender side, so I'm following up, seeing,
Yeah.
you know, on the documents and all that. I can put notes in as well, so I didn't know if it's reciprocal, like,
You'd want to create a team. So as long as they both have, so if you have a LionDesk account, she'd want to get a LionDesk account. You can create a team, and that allows you to share contacts, assign each other tasks, view each other's stuff, and work together. Yeah. Yeah. Team sharing is pretty easy to do. Should we get you guys out of here? Yeah. Anyone else that has questions, feel free to come see me.
So before you guys head out, I'm kind of curious, how many of you would like to have a follow-up training in regards to LionDesk? All right, give me your business card and then see if we can schedule something for the future, all right?